to PezKnits. My name is Presley. It has been a long time since I last posted and I apologize. The excuse I'm going to make is that, you know, with like Christmas and New Year's, it's just been like crazy. And then I think in a combination of like it being super hot here, like during summer, I just haven't had the motivation to like put a video together and post it. But I'm here now, so that's all that matters. I hope that you guys have been well. Yeah, Christmas and New Year's was really good. Like I got to spend time with family and stuff. On the crafting side, I haven't really done all that much, but I do have some stuff to show you guys. I'm just gonna get right into it and start with finished objects, I guess. This is gonna be a really short segment, but I cannot tell you how much crochet has a chokehold on me. It's actually not funny anymore. Like, for those who don't know, I only recently learned how to crochet. I'm originally like a knitter, and I was like a really like hardcore as in like that's all I ever did. Like I just knit. And then like last year, like the middle of last year, I decided to learn to crochet, and ever since I was just like obsessed. Like I literally can't stop crocheting now. It's actually so bad. So I've been mostly crocheting. Like all the time that I haven't posted, I've literally been crocheting. Like I don't think I've knitted like in the last like 6 months. But maybe that's an exaggeration. I would say maybe like, no, I would say yeah, for like the last 6 months now. So maybe once winter rolls around, I'll get back into knitting. But for now, like in the hot weather, I'm finding that crochet is like a really great craft because I don't feel myself like getting sweaty like I do with knitting. I'm not sure why. I'm assuming it's because I only need to use like one hand and I'm like barely touching like the fabric of it. While with knitting, you gotta have like the fabric like touching both your hands, and like usually it's like on your like lap or something. I don't know. I'm just making it up. I don't know why crochet is so much better in the heat, but that's what I'm finding. So I was like, I have stuff to show you. Not really. So I was like experimenting a little bit with like crocheted like bag charms. Like especially with knitting, I've usually just made like garments and accessories, so like scarves, hats, or like sweaters. But with like crochet, I feel like it's much easier to do like things that are like other than that, like home goods and things like that. So I looked up this YouTube tutorial, and I'll link it down below because I do not remember what it's called right now. But I made this little bag charm, and it's like, it's meant to be a raspberry, but because I did it in purple, I feel like it looks more like a blackberry. And what's so cute about it is that I can lift up this lid, and then it's like a little compartment in there. And I just put the lid back on. And like the whole point of it is that you would like, I don't have a bag on me, but like pretend that this is like the bag handle. You would just like put it on, loop it around like this, and then it would just hang off your bag like that. And so I've been putting this on my tote bag. It looks so cute. And I actually went crazy and I made my sister and my mom one. For my sister, I made grapes, and then I made my mom one like a strawberry one. And they're like all like really similar with like kind of this lid that you can take off and put back on. I thought that was so cute. And this yarn, like it's just like acrylic yarn. Like I feel like things like this, little things like this is really good for like acrylic yarn, because I feel like it's also a lot sturdier as well. Like I've had this on my bag and it's been like rubbing against stuff, and you can like barely like notice it. Like it still looks really good. So that was really good. I could just use up some of my like acrylic yarn that I had lying around. And then another thing I did, okay, this is gonna be a long story, but I went over during like Australia Day. I went to my friend's beach house, and her grandmother like was a huge crocheter. She had like crocheted pillows, she had like a crocheted blanket, she had like crocheted hangings and stuff, and I like felt so inspired. And so when I got home, I made this tissue box cover. And it's just made of like acrylic yarn, and I'll put the pattern down below. I've already forgotten, but it was so easy. And it's just like you just like slip it on the top like a slip, and it was like so easy. I made this in I think it was like 1.5 days. And oh my god, doesn't that look so cute? I was really happy with that. And the colors, like this is just what I had lying around. Like I recently had like an aunt give me some yarn that she like wasn't using, which was like this purple, pink, and blue. And then for Christmas, I got like this light pink yarn and white yarn. So I just used them all together. Didn't worry about like the weights of the yarns or anything. Like, and I just did it. And it just turned out really good. How cute. I'm thinking about making another one. Maybe like either like a different, because this is like more like a granny square kind of style. Either like a different style or like the same style with different colors. I don't know yet. But that was so easy and so cute. I feel like crochet, like, I don't know if this is controversial, but I feel like crochet, like, I feel like there's less pressure, if that makes sense. Because, like, if I don't like it, it's really, like, quick to, like, do stuff. I don't know if, like, this took me, like, an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was knitting for an hour, it might be because I'm a quicker crocheter than I am a knitter. That would make sense. But, like, if I were to knit for an hour, I feel like I'd get, like, 10 rows done of something, and it'd be like, it won't look like anything. But with crochet, you can just like spend an hour doing something, and you can just like throw something together. I don't know if that's controversial. I'm sorry if it comes across as controversial, but that's what I found as someone who has come from knitting and has started crocheting. Okay, I'm gonna go into whips. I really honestly don't have that much. I'm just showing you what I've been working on. Like, mind you, I've got like a million whips lying all over the place, but I have not touched them. So I'm just showing you the two things that I've been working on this whole time. So lame. Okay, this first one is actually stunning. When it's done, when it's done, it's gonna be beautiful. So this is my zigzag interrupted. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, and this is one of the parts of it. It's gonna be like a shawl. It's like a rectangular shawl. It's kind of like a scarf but wider. It's just like a rectangular shawl, and there's these sections like this where it's like made out of these little crocheted squares, and then there's panels of like crocheted like that wavy pattern. If you see it, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like lots of patterns use it. It's like a wavy sort of like pattern. And so once I've created all of these little like panels, I'll be able to get like the wavy crochet panel like on here. Like I crochet it onto these panels and then add the panels as I go along. Hopefully that makes sense. The pattern is beautiful. The moment I saw it, like I bought this pattern ages ago, like middle of last year, because I wanted to crochet a shawl. Because I've never done it before, and I chose this one, and I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I thought, why not? Let's do it. These panels are so easy. I've made 2 so far, and there are, I think 5. There's 5 in total, so here are my 2. And I've technically finished the 3rd panel, but it's just all the squares. Like, so I've created all of the squares for the 3rd panel. I just need to sew them together. What's stopping me is that this whole time I've been blocking each individual little square, like before I sew it into a panel. And now for some reason, for this 3rd panel, I like cannot be bothered doing that. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to not block them and hope that it just turns out the same as these blocked ones. Or I wait until I block them, but I don't know when I'll do that because I'm lazy. But yeah, so exciting. So the colors, I'm not sure if I've spoken about this before, but I'll speak about it again. So the colors originally I had bought for Stephen West's mystery knit along shawl, like, oh my god, like 2 years ago now, like 2022. And I started that shawl and I did not like it at all. Like, I didn't enjoy the process. I didn't really enjoy the design. So I decided that I would like frog it and use the yarn for a different project. And so this shawl, I decided I might as well use that yarn that I already have and build off of it, because this shawl requires, I think, how many colors? 5 colors. And that Stephen West shawl only had 3. So I had to add 2 other colors. And so I've got, this is moss green from Giacomo. I always get their name wrong. Giacomo Textiles. I've actually got three. Actually, I've got four of them from the same Giacomo textiles. This is Autumn Walk. This is like a beautiful like white mixed with like green, blue, and orange. And this is also actually what I'm using to sew together the squares. If I flip it around, it'll look more clear. You can see the whites. And this backside, I'm obsessed. Like, look at this. It looks so neat. And it almost reminds me, I'm like not a sewer, but do you know that sewing technique where they get the seams on the inside and they get that machine to like sew a zigzag against them so they don't fray? Like, that's what that reminds me of. I've got no idea what it's called, but it looks like really similar to that. So I think it looks so neat. Anyway, so I'm using that white to sew them all together because I was like, that's the most neutral color. And then I've got this blue, which I am obsessed with this blue. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before because I bought this at the Fiberfest. I bought it at last year's Fiberfest. Fiberfest? I think it was No, not Fiberfest. I bought it at Fiber Frolic. Can you blame me for mixing them up? I bought this at Fiber Frolic last year. And this is from Giacomo Textiles as well. Obsessed. And then this one as well I bought at the same time, same place. And this is Eggplant. Beautiful like purple gray like color. This was me like trying to get a neutral but also trying not to be boring because for some reason I hate buying like neutral yarn colors. And then I end up with something crazy like this. But I think it's like totally wearable. Like it's definitely a statement. It's not like a neutral sort of shawl. And I don't think I'd want a shawl to be neutral. Like I would want it to stand out. And this is like going to be so like, what's the word? Like something that's like you can't buy in a store. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I want it to look unique. I want it to look colorful. And yeah, so I'm still working on that. These little squares like take 5 minutes. Like not even that. I think I'm like exaggerating. They only take like 3 minutes max, like to make. And so like I'm pumping out the squares, but it's like the actual effort of having to block them and then sew them together is like the most annoying part. Especially with like the sewing. I'm not even sewing them. I'm not sure what the technique is called, but I'm just using the crochet hook. And do you see this pattern where it's like, it's not like straight across, it's almost like zigzaggy, right? And so you have to like, I lay them all out on the sofa in the correct color order because there's like a schema on the pattern that tells you which square needs to go where. And then I like pick them up one by one and like crochet them together and then pick up the next one and then crochet it. And I've messed up this pattern so many times. It's actually so complicated. There's something about diagrams that just really gets me. I just like, I don't know if I'm not a visual person or what, but it's like really confusing because there's two types. There's this type where it ends on a flat side, and then there's this type where it like ends. Do you see what I mean? There's like this 2 half triangles here. And then on this type of stripe, there's only one. So, and it's because they need to fit together like this. Do you see? But obviously there'd be a panel in between them, but they still like fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. I gotta admire these pattern makers. Seriously, I could never do it. I'm like too dumb. I cannot even reading them. I'm like, I cannot imagine having to write them. It'd be so difficult. So yes, that's my Ziggy Interrupted. So beautiful, so fun. I know it's going to be a showstopper once she's done. It's going to be crazy. I'm so excited. Okay. If you have watched my channel before, you were probably sick to death about hearing about this, but I'm still going to show you anyway because I have nothing else to show. It is my granny square blanket I've been working on for what seems like forever. I don't know. I don't want to be dramatic, but like... all of the ends I'm gonna have to do. So I don't know, it's been so long. I'll give a backstory on this project. So I had just like developed like this entire pile of like acrylic yarn of all different kinds of weights, all different kinds of, you know, when you're starting like fiber crafts, there's like a stage where you're just buying yarn and you just like have no idea about, you know, you have no idea about weight, like DK fingering, what does that mean? Like, I just like the color, you know, so you're just like buying whatever. And then once I was like knitting more, I realized like the whole concept of gauge and stuff. And a lot of this like chunkier acrylic yarn I didn't quite like anymore. And so they were just all sitting in a corner, like in this box, like rolled, like balled up, like not doing anything. And so once I learned how to crochet, like I've always been obsessed over the idea of granny squares. Like I was like, wow, I would love to have like a granny square blanket. And so I was like, let's make a granny square blanket out of all of these random colors. Like there's no color palette. It's just like all the colors I have. I'm just gonna make granny squares and then I'm gonna make them into a blanket. Little did I know how much yarn I really had because I'm still going. And I want you to guess how many squares I have. I've got right now 160, like 5, give or take. I did some this morning. Like I think I made 2 or 3 this morning. So let's round it up to 170. It's probably 170 squares. And I'm still going. And it's funny because I actually laid them out on the floor recently. And I was like, I bet it's going to be huge. Like I was imagining like a doona cover, like to go on my bed. Do you know what I mean? And then I laid them all out. And it's really not that big. Like 170 squares. Oh my God, 170 squares. You'd think that it'd be like ginormous by now, but it's really not. I haven't like measured each individual square, but I would say that's like, what would you say that is? It's like the palm of my hand. I feel like I've got like not the biggest hands in the world. Like it's probably like a 10 centimeter by 10, like a 10 by 10 centimeter square. I feel like I'm the worst guesstimator in the world, so that's probably not right, but they're still quite small. So it's like, but like 170 squares, like come on. So I'm still going because I still feel like it's not big enough. I haven't sewn in any of the ends. Like it's gonna be like making the squares is one thing, and like putting them together and like getting them ready to be put into a blanket is another thing. What's also stressful is the fact that like I have some squares which are really big, like this one. If I get another square, I've got some, like, see? I've got some squares that are really big, and it's because, again, I wasn't, like, paying attention to weight, like the weights of the thickness of the yarn. I was just, like, doing whatever. So some of them are really big, and some of them are, like, this size. They're all more like this size, but there are some outliers like this one, which are, like, really big. And so what I'm thinking is that like, I'm just going to make as many as possible. I'm going to just use up all of my acrylic yarn that I have in my collection. I'm starting to run low now. And by run low, I mean the color variety. Like I've still got like a lot of browns, a lot of grays, and a lot of greens. But it's like, I'm not going to make like gray squares. Do you know what I mean? Like I want them to have some variety. So I am running low, but I'm still getting there. But my plan is that like, I'm going to measure all of them. I really don't want to block them. That's the only thing. Like I reckon if I blocked like these ones, which are like a little bit smaller, they might get to this size, but I don't like, I'd rather get rid of the outlier bigger ones than having to block all like the other 150 that are like smaller. So my plan is to make as many as possible and then get rid of the outliers and either redo them with like a tighter gauge, because I actually also think it's a combination of the yarn that I use and also how my crocheting technique has changed over time. Like I feel like I was doing it really loose at one point, and now as I've continued crocheting, like I feel like it's a lot more neater and tighter. I don't know, can you tell the difference? Like I feel like if I show you this one, like it's pretty neat and like tight, and then if I show you this one, also doesn't help that this one's ugly. There's actually some really ugly ones in here, but I'm hoping it just camouflages with the rest of them. But this one's like, and do you see how I've learned now that like, do you see how it ends in the middle of the two? Like I would redo that one because now I end it at the corner. I don't end it in the middle of the square like that. That's like, I would have like not done that now. Like that's like, I don't know what I was doing there, but I would probably redo that one. So that's my plan. I'm gonna get all the big ones, either redo them or just like get rid of them, because maybe in the end I won't even need them because I have so many squares. And yeah, I'm hoping for like a bed, like a bedspread sort of level of blanket here. Like that's what I'm imagining. Hopefully we get there. I don't know if we will. I doubt it, honestly. It's like, I would say right now it's probably like not even half of the bed. At least my bed. I have like a queen size bed. If I had a single bed, it would probably be big enough now, but I have a queen size bed, so it's like probably not going to be big enough. And like even lifting this bag, I got my partner to lift it up. Like I reckon, I should weigh it actually. I feel like this is like at least a kilo. Like at least, I feel like. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But it's really heavy. Like it's so heavy. It's so heavy. So I don't know. We'll keep going on that. I'm like pretty addicted. Like I just sit on the sofa and I close my eyes and grab whatever bowl and I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that looks good. And then I just add it and I get the next one and I look at it, yeah, and I add it. Like, you know, it's pretty fun. Like I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying crocheting. Like it's crazy. If you told me like a year ago that I'd be crocheting, like I would not have believed you. Like I was a strict, like devoted knitter for such a long time. And now that I've learned crochet, I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. So yes. That's really all I had to talk about. I hope. Usually when I'm editing this video, something will pop in my head. I'll be like, oh, I should have shown them that. But it never occurs to me when I'm filming these things. So future me, if there's something that you forgot, I'm sorry. Because I forgot. Yeah, so hopefully, I'm hoping that this gets the ball rolling for my upload schedule again, because like I've been pretty bad. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. I hope you've had a great new year, and I hope you have a great rest of your month. And hopefully, I'll see you soon. Bye.